page, at least I'm seeing the screensaver that was there before. So at least the whole video was gone now.
Okay. All right.
On the page, at least I'm seeing better than nothing.
Okay.
I'm seeing the
Hi.
screensaver that was there before.
Hi.
So the whole video was gone now.
Okay. All right.
On the page, at least I'm seeing better than nothing.
Okay.
I'm seeing the
Hi.
screensaver that was there before.
Hi.
So the whole video was gone now.
Okay. All right. Hi, Pepper. Somebody is on with a lot of background noise. Hi, Pepper. Somebody is on with a lot of background noise. Oh, is it? Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me okay? Yes? Oh, okay. All right, perfect. Oh, gosh. All right. So sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties. I actually logged on a little early just to make sure that, you guys can see me and everything was fine, and press the button, and then that was it. Okay, great. You guys can hear me now. Fantastic. Hi, Peppa. Hi, Shauna. I can see you. Hi, Miss Aphrodisiac. Thank you guys for joining. Okay. Hi, Maya. And I could see Robin was here earlier. Are you still on, Robin? Excellent. All right. Is everybody on here from Canada, from Toronto? Where can we just do a small roll call? Where are you guys from? I know we have some people from Toronto here. So I know you guys are extremely happy to be inside in your jammies with your socks on doing this, right? I'm sure. Hey, Keisha. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. So we have some people from TO, one person from Ohio, another person from Toronto. Hi, Samantha. Thank you for joining. All right. So again, my apologies for the delay and the technical difficulties. I hope you guys will walk away with some really great tools for 2016. and to really start living fearlessly and set big goals that are worthy of your time and your effort and your passion. Maya, let me know if you can see me now. Thank you, Pepper. Yeah, if you refresh your page, you might be able to see me now. So a couple of, well, housekeeping, you guys are engaged. That's awesome. So any questions that you have as I go along, if I'm going too fast or if there's something that you didn't understand or you didn't hear, just let me know. Drop me a note in the chat box and I will get back to you. I will also be doing some sharing my screen as well. So if you guys can't see it again, let me know. And we will also rectify that as well. All right. So who's ready to get started? Awesome. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Let me get. Ready. Awesome. Charlemagne's ready. AMC is ready. Maya, maybe, I don't know, maybe you could rejoin, maybe log off and log back on. Maybe that might help. Let me know when you're in and when you could actually see my screen. All right, so you ladies can see the presentation on my screen right now. Yes? Awesome. Also, I have to confess, this is my very, very, very first webinar. So bear with me as I try to get this right and do this in the right way. Okay, perfect. Right, Shauna is ready. All right, so right now the question I have on is to get started. Hi, Michelle, welcome. Michelle is joining us from Toronto. Thanks for joining. What action will you take to make 2016 better than 2015? And I know that you guys who are on the webinar right now, you are taking action. You're taking massive purpose-driven action, and you are here. So congratulations to all of you for being on this webinar tonight, for taking the time to actually spend some time to focus on the things that will really matter to you, and how you can move ahead with boldness and with less fear in 2016. I came across this quote. Some of you guys might know my obsession with Oprah. I call her my aunt. You know, I call her Auntie Oprah. And I came across this quote when I was doing research, and it reads, "The thing you fear most has no power. Your fear of it is what has the power. Facing the truth really will set you free." How many of you that resonated with? The thing you fear most has no power. All right. So I want you to keep thinking about that quote as we go along. And just wanted to give you guys some background. I know that most of you know me. You're either part of the Sister Talk group or you may have heard of me, but I just wanted to give you guys just a little background in terms of, my goals, what I do, why am I here, and why am I even doing this webinar tonight. And my life purpose, my mission is to empower women and girls to live the best lives and to go after their dreams in life. This little collage that you're seeing right here, it represents my passion, my purpose, and as you can see, it's a lot of children, it's a lot of young kids, it's a lot of women, and I am the creator and the CEO of Sister Talk Group, which is a women's leadership network. We have elephant story conversations about life and love. And I often describe it as a conversation that goes beyond the boys, the bags, and the shoes. Sister Talk has started about 3 years ago when I started my own vulnerability journey. And it honestly started as a way for me to really get Carlin, because I literally felt like I was the walking dead. I had my checklist, I had my to-do list, and I was doing all those things, but it wasn't purposeful. And the result of that left me feeling drained, feeling, when you had that, you're busy, you're doing stuff, but at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you look at yourself and you're like, what have I done with my life? And you feel like you haven't really accomplished anything. And you will hear me speaking a lot about, I call them my success coaches and my success mentors. I don't know them personally, but I stalk a lot of them online. And one of them, which is Oprah, I had the fortunate experience of not only appearing on her show, but also speaking to her backstage a little bit when we first appeared on the Oprah live class, and I appeared on the OWN network. I have been fortunate because of my journey of walking more in my truth and trying to discover more of what makes Carlin alive. It led me to a lot of what I call disruption in my life, and disruption, but in a good way, in the sense that I learned how to face my fear. I avoided and I ran away from my fear. And this is why I'm excited to be here tonight to share with you guys some of the tactics, some of the tools, some of the strategies I've learned over the past 3 years since I started on what I call my naked journey, my vulnerability journey, because wanting to find out more of why Carlin is here, wanting to feel more alive, wanting to walk more in my purpose, wanting to make every single second that I have left on this earth matter, led me to discovering the work of Dr. Brené Brown. And Dr. Brené Brown is a shame and vulnerability expert. And the photo that you're seeing right here, this is some of the members of the Sister Talk group. I call them the founding members when they first appeared on Oprah's live class with me. Two things I discovered on that journey of discovering why Carlin is here and how can I walk more basically in my purpose. The two things happened. One was I discovered that I was struggling, and the denial of saying that, no, I'm okay. No, everything is fine. It's exhausting. It's very, very exhausting, and eventually it takes a toll on you. It took a toll on my life. It took a toll on my body. And when I say on my life in terms of my body, it took a toll on my relationships as well. And I really wanted to be in love. I wanted to enjoy life more. I wanted to have that feeling of just let people in my life and build relationships on trust. But I wasn't able to do that because I did not trust and I did not know how to love Carlin. So that whole journey led me to not only discovering that I don't love myself, which meant that I wasn't fighting for my goals, and I wasn't fighting hard for Carlin. And the second thing I also realized was that journey taught me was I cannot do it alone. I didn't have all the answers. I was struggling. And what that resulted in was I called a few of my girlfriends over and I said, I'm struggling. Can we meet up for a girls' night? And the girls came over, and this is how the whole journey of sisterhood and understanding the power of sisterhood started. I've been fortunate enough to share my story, what I call my elephant story, which is a fear-based or a shame-based story, something that has happened in my life. And that's why I'm so excited we're talking about fear tonight, because I've studied fear for quite some time, because I have lived with it and I have allowed it to dictate my what I do, the type of goals I set. So tonight I'm really excited to share with you guys some of the strategies and some of the tools that you can use in your own life to help catapult you into your best life and into your best self. I've also appeared on Global TV, Mommy Noir, Huffington Post Live, and some other networks, both here in Toronto and internationally as well. Some other items by me. The 21 Days of Self-Love is also a program I've created, the Weekly Success Planner Guide, as well as the E-Guide, a woman's guide to creating the life she loves, which is actually a compilation of little tidbits of wisdom from sisters. I call them my sisters, the members of the Sister Talk group, and which also has a workbook as well. And I've also I've done a couple of workshops for United Way, for HSBC, for Scotiabank as well. And today, I am really, really proud, and I'm here to really share with you what I've learned on my journey so far. And I also look forward to hearing from you as well in terms of some of the strategies that you have used that have worked really well in your life as well, so that we can also share that with the rest of the group. What you will walk away with. Just want to check in with you guys right here in the chat box. Make sure that everything is okay and you guys can hear me okay. All right. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you with us. I'm excited that you're here. Going back to the objectives of tonight's webinar, we'll take a look at how to identify fear, what's holding you back, and what you can do to overcome it. Again, I will be providing you with some tools to get the clarity on the area of your life that will bring about the most change. The tools that I'm sharing with you guys, not only these are tools that I've used in my own life, but for the past 3 years, these are tools that we've used in the Sister Talk group as well. We started off with about 18 to 20 women, and the various tools that we have used throughout those years, it's based on the success principles from, I call them again, my success mentors and my coaches, and you'll hear me talk about them a lot, from Tony Robbins to Oprah to Brene Brown, to Napoleon Hill, Robin Sharma, and these are just a few of them, but I reference their work a lot because I've studied their work. I've really watched how are they doing it? How are they setting such bold goals, and how are they thriving and moving forward? And especially when you look at some of the stories, some of the things that they've been through, how are they able to attain the level of success that they have achieved and are still achieving in their lives? So a lot of the tools and the strategies in the workbook is based on their success principles that I've worked on that have worked for them and in their lives. I will also share with you some very, very effective strategies on how to implement new rituals into your daily life that will help you reach your goals. Tony Robbins have the saying, which I love, and he says that the rituals that you have, the daily rituals, will depict or will dictate the kind of life that you will have, the kind of standard that you will set for your life, and the kind of goals that you will also achieve in your life. I will share with you tips on how to increase your success mindset, increase confidence, and self-awareness. Overall, what I will be sharing tonight, what you will be able to walk away with, is an effective way to set goals and how to follow up on them effortlessly. The problem, why are we here, and why are we having this conversation on setting goals and living with fear? And I have 2 examples there, and it's not limited to those 2 examples. But when I first read Lean In, and I read Sheryl Sandberg and the ton of research on why women don't lean in, why we hold ourselves back. If we're given a spot on a rocket ship, she's like, don't ask questions, just take it. But a lot of us know that we're often plagued by the overthinking. I call it the other problem that we're plagued with. I call it the WWPT disease. What will people think? We hold ourselves back in so many ways, big and small. And also, when Katie Kay and Claire Shipman wrote the Confidence Code again, it just, I understood it. I got it because I, was actually part of their test group, for lack of a better word, as much as the research was mostly based on North America, female population. But when I read those books, I can raise my hand. I saw where I held myself back. I saw where I did not lean in. I saw where I could have gone for certain roles in life, or there are certain goals I wanted to pursue. And then, the little gremlin, the fear gremlin comes up and says, oh, but Carlin, you haven't completed a degree in X, and you haven't done Y. And are you sure you're the most qualified person to speak about this? There are people out there who are a little bit more qualified than you. How many of you guys can relate to what I'm talking about? Right. And and yes, yes, Cheryl. Yes, Michelle also noted that she can relate. And Maya said definitely. And oh, Kaisha just said, oh, I just yelled out, right? And AMC is raising her hand. And then the reason why I know that, you know, you ladies can relate to me is that we are all walking. We're all walking in this very same path, in this very same journey. And because what we're doing right now, setting bold goals and raising our hands and saying, I want more, I want more out of life. I deserve more out of life. Society often yanks us back into that box that they have prescribed for us in terms of girls should not be, women should not be heard, should not be seen. You know, you have to stay in your corner. We have been taught to please, to perform, and to perfect everything we do, you know. But when it comes for us asking for what we want, and we raise our hand and we are labeled with other words, which you ladies know what I'm talking about. Why is she being so ballsy? Why is she so this? Why is she being, you know, like, why is she trying to act like a man? And the one thing that I've learned, and I will share with you again, which really just brings home the reason why I'm really passionate about women and goals, women and girls, and our goal, my goal is tied to this goal to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, which is one of the goals for the global goals, which was set by the UN, the Sustainable Development Goals. And each of you tonight, right here, your goal, and I urge you after this call to also take a look at the Sustainable Development Goals set by the UN. But your goals and that gift and that talent and whatever you will be doing in 2016, you are also tied to the global goals. Whatever you do, don't ever think that your goal and what you do is small or insignificant. Each and every one of us have a piece of the puzzle. Each and every one of us, we carry the responsibility for us to take what we have been given, that gift, that goal that has been given to us at birth, that talent, that skill. Your responsibility, your life work is to find out what it is and to achieve it and to accomplish it. Every single second and every single minute and every single hour we spend here on this earth should be purposeful. It should be purpose driven and it should be purposeful, because we are here for a reason. We have been through what we've been through for a reason. And the most exciting thing that I know for both of us, myself and you included, is that your dreams and your goals, it is possible. So my mission with Sister Talk, my mission through my not-for-profit, which is called the Belmont Community Youth Network, is tied to the two Sustainable Development Goals, 4 and 5, which is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. And it's also to ensure inclusive and quality education for all and to promote lifelong learning. And at the end of it all, when we take a look at fear and we take a look at what the research is saying around fear and the basic human, you know, what we're all here to fulfill and what we're all here to actually acquire is we're all here to learn how to live with passion and purpose. That's it. We're all here to make the most and the best of the life that we have been given. And just like these individuals. So the next slide you're seeing right here is, again, some of my success mentors, people who inspire me, people who are living their lives with purpose and passion. And because of that, they have made a difference in this world, and they are making a difference in this world. And their work, whatever small part of what they have done or what they have accomplished, have enabled another part or have sparked an inspiration. It has motivated someone else. It has given someone the tools that they need for them to go on and to live their lives according to the purpose that God has designed for them. And your goals as well, whatever it is that you're here to accomplish, that big, bold goal will also do the same. Yes, they are famous in terms of everybody know, who Oprah is, Napoleon Hill, Ariana Huffington, Rosa Parks, Tony Robbins, Brene Brown. Yes, we all know who they are because, we see them online, we see them in different publications, and they've been referenced as thought leaders, but you are equal to them because the inspiration and the motivation that they have sparked in the lives of other people, you are sparking that very same level of inspiration and motivation in the lives of the people around you. The greatest gift that we can give to ourselves and the people who are around us is to be ourselves. Not the small version of who you are, but fully, authentically, boldly yourself. Now, who can tell me what all of these success mentors, these thought leaders had in common? Whoever can give me an answer, you will be getting a virtual hug. And a real one if you're also in Toronto as well. Who can tell me what do they all have in common? Sheryl Sandberg, Ariana Huffington, Napoleon Hill, Oprah, Steve Jobs, Tony Robbins, Rosa Parks, Brene Brown. What do they all have in common? Pepper Brooks says vulnerability. Yes. Yes, Maya is getting that hug. Maya said that they felt the fear but did it and they persevered anyway. And you are correct. The one thing they all had in common was fear. They all had fear in common. Why? Here, this quote by Tony Robbins that says that we're all born with fear. It's a protective mechanism. And it's true. Fear is part of who we are. We cannot avoid it. It is an emotion that we all experience. And it doesn't matter who you are, but at some point in our lives, we all experience fear. Is there anybody on the line who haven't experienced fears yet? Yes. We all have. We all have. We're all born with it. And what the research is showing is that it's part of who we are. It's been embedded in our DNA from our primitive ancestors. It's a trigger that has been embedded as part of our brain. And it's part of our whole fight or flight. It's how the brain works. Our default mechanism is actually based on the negativity bias. So it doesn't really matter what you do. Your brain will automatically go and look for the fear factor. It will automatically look for that fear factor. So part of understanding fear and part of the work that we'll be doing as part of this webinar, which is also part of your workbook, which I'll walk you through in a little bit, is to try to reframe or try to get a better understanding of our relationship with fear. And part of that relationship and part of that strategy is to understand that fear is universal. It's something we all experience. There is nobody out there who do not feel fear or who haven't experienced fear. But the key is to understand it and to move past it and to learn to live with fear. Pepper Brooks, are you hearing me okay? You said crickets. I know there's a little bit of delay in the transmission of the audio, but let me know if you can hear me okay. Just drop a note in the comment box. Excellent. Perfect. All right, so let's move on to talking about dealing with fear. In order for us to set bold goals, and in order for us to set goals that are worthy of our time worthy of our efforts, we have to learn to deal with fear. We have to understand fear. We have to understand the impact it has on our body. And we have to also build a relationship with it, which will allow us to deal with it in an effective manner. Who can tell me the most effective strategy is in dealing with fear? Ah, got it now, Pepper Brooks. Thank you. The most effective strategy in dealing with fear. Who can tell me what that is? So Maya says acknowledging its existence. Yep. That's one. Anybody else? That is a very effective one. Taking action. Shauna James. Charlemagne says prayer. Cheryl says render it powerless. And you know, everything you ladies mentioned is dead on. It's part of the strategy in terms of effectively dealing with fear. But one of the most effective strategy in dealing with fear is curiosity. And I say curiosity because, like I mentioned before, fear, our default mechanism, the way the brain works, Michelle Ferguson says, acknowledging that it is an emotion and it is not the reality. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And this is why curiosity is your new best friend. And it's actually a very effective tool, especially when it comes to emotional intelligence and managing your emotions. Curiosity is one of the most effective tools you ladies need and should add to your toolbox. What that will do is that it gives you insight. It gives you an opportunity, as mentioned by, yes, as mentioned by Michelle, what will happen is that when we get curious about the fear, we get to tap into our, yes, AMC, correct, because we fear what we do not know. And let me just go back a little bit to the brain and how the brain works. What happens is when we get, because of the brain's negativity bias, what we call the amygdala, which is where we have our emotional memory. And this is where it actually triggers the fight, flight, or the freeze response. Have you guys heard about that whole response? So two things happen. So, you know, when we're in fear or when we feel fear, we either go into a two mode. Usually don't hear about the freeze, but the two most popular responses or the triggers is either a fight or a flight. So either we put up our defenses in terms of, oh, I don't know what's happening here. Maybe this person will hurt me. So let me just put up my defenses and shut them out. Or we fight. We have to protect ourselves. So we go into protective mode. And that fight might be fight with words. And I don't necessarily mean a physical fist fight, though in some cases that might be what happens. But we fight and we protect ourselves and we ensure that, because that is our natural human default. We tend to protect ourselves. And another reason too why we go into the fight or flight bias is that our emotional trigger, what's in our subconscious, the amygdala, which is where we operate 99.9% of the time, is in our subconscious part of our brain. The subconscious does not have the ability to process and to see whether or not this is a real danger zone or is it just an unknown territory. So the reason why curiosity is very effective is that it gives us an opportunity for us to actually test for truth. It gives us an opportunity for us to go in a little bit deeper and to find out what's really going on. And I liken the whole, concept of using curiosity as one of your very first or the most effective tool with dealing with fear as the whole voicemail, or getting a voicemail or somebody calling you on your phone. And the analogy that is used is if somebody calls you and you notice on your phone that you have a voicemail, and that is not the case where you called somebody and they called you back, so you know what they're calling you about, but you got a call from someone and you have a voicemail, what would you do? Would you automatically call that person back without checking the message to see what they wanted to find out, or what they wanted to tell you, or what they're looking for? The same logic applies to fear. When you feel the fear, when it comes, because the brain operates from the subconscious and it doesn't have the ability for it to actually test for truth and to fact check, it is up to us to engage what we, scientists and the research calls the prefrontal cortex, which is where your thinking mind is, which is where your IQ is, which is where your reasoning and your language is. So that curiosity, and I want you to remember that, I want you to write that word down, because that curiosity will be the differentiating factor between you operating from an empowered place, from a place of boldness and confidence, and operating from a place of fear. Because when we let fear tell us who we are, and when we set goals from a place of fear, your goals will be way below what you are truly worth. Any questions so far, or are you guys with me? Are you guys still with me? Awesome. Okay. Excellent. So now that we've talked a little bit about fear, and we've talked about the impact of how the brain works, and I want you to remember the subconscious and the conscious, and another effective strategy with actually engaging your conscious part of your brain, or your prefrontal cortex part, or your neocortex part of the brain, is being mindful and being present. But again, it's very important. And being mindful is one. It's also very important for us to also take the time and to test for truth. And the 5-step process we'll be talking about into this webinar to help you to manage your fear so you can live fearlessly. And again, and I don't really like when people talk and they say that you can get rid of fear. You can't get rid of it, but you can acknowledge it because it's part of who we are. We cannot get rid of it, but we can use it to help take that emotion and to channel it into something effective. And I think it was Maya who mentioned earlier that what did Oprah, Brene Brown, Steve Jobs, Rosa Parks, what did they all have in common? They were afraid, but they felt the fear and they did it anyway. So what I will be taking you through next is the 5-step process. The 5-step process in which will help you to walk you through your reality. And step 1 is the reality factor. Step 2, we will go through what I call your conscious clarity. And all of that is part of your workbook, and I'm going to take you through it just in a few seconds. We'll go into step 3, which is the messy middle, and which is where we really will get into the fear factor, and we'll take a look at our different states, what happens to the brain, what happens to our body, what is our fear stories, and how do we challenge that story so we can get to the truth of what we are truly afraid of. Step 4 is your blueprint to success. We'll be talking about mindset mastery, how to get into the right mindset, which will allow you to set goals from a place of power and a place of boldness and confidence. And then we'll talk about visualization and manifestation, which will take you to putting it all together and taking all the tools that we've mentioned here tonight and allow you to use it to help you to set your goals, but not just set your goals for 2016, but will allow you to also maintain those goals and to take it to the next level. So very quickly, I will take you through and at the end of the webinar, I will be sharing with you the workbook. There is lots of work for you to do. But again, because you are here, I know that you have already done some of the work. You have done There we go. You have done some of the work. You are ready to set bold goals for 2016. And just by you showing up, just by you being here, showing up, and actually being present on this webinar is a testament of your capability and your ability for you to achieve your goals for 2016. All right. So taking you quickly through to the 5-step process. So what I will do right now, I will just do a high-level overview on the 5-step process, and then I will take you to the end of the webinar, where we'll talk about, again, the putting it all together and the special item that I have for you at the end of today's session, as well as an opportunity to really help you to take your goals to the next level. And then I will send you your link to your workbook, download it, and then we will take it from there. So another quote inspired by my mentor, my success coach, my success mentor, Brené Brown, and she says, "What's the greater risk? Letting go of what people think, or letting go of how I feel, what I believe, and who I am?" The foundation of the work that we do, with just about everything that we do is vulnerability. If you don't know who you are, if you don't get a good glimpse of who you are in this present moment, we really will not know how for us to move forward and where to go. Knowing who you are, getting a great glimpse, a great handle on the person that you know you are today. And there's no judgment in here in the very first step, which I call it the reality factor. And the quote to spark, to get you going, to get you to start writing from your truth and writing from your most vulnerable place. And my advice also to you ladies is to print the workbook, print at least 2 copies. When you do the first one, do it again. Usually after we do the first data dump, it's usually like a very surface stuff. I want you to go in. The foundation of your goal will depend on how deep you go when you're writing your goals and when you're completing this workbook. The more you allow yourself to be authentic, to be vulnerable, the greater the impact you will have in 2016. And this quote by Mark and Angel really sets up the step 1, the reality factor, really well. It says, "It's not what you say out loud to everyone else that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power." And I know that you guys can relate, because when we take a look at the social media world that we live in right now, everybody is having an absolute perfect life. If we take a look at the photos and we take a look at, what people are posting, people would want to lead us to believe that, like life is perfect and life is great and everything is just super fantastic. The workbook will be sent to you after, Charlemagne. You will receive a link right after the webinar for you to download the workbook, and you can get started working on it right away. What we whisper to ourselves. Yes, Samantha says, love that quote. Me too. Because what we say to ourselves and what we believe about ourselves, this is what will drive our action. And as much as we might say that, oh yes, I want to set, big, bold goals for 2016. If we don't get clear about who we are, and if we don't dig deep and strengthen that connection and that bond with ourselves and who we are, we will still end up setting small goals for 2016. So step 1, the reality factor, takes a look at, yes, who you are today. And as you can see by the summary right here, just to acknowledge your personal truth, do a data dump. When I have worked with clients on this, some of them are like, wow, I did not expect all of this to come out. So what I suggest is that you go into a space where you're alone, where you can write uninterrupted for at least 15 minutes, and then you just go in and you complete this part. Part of the reality factor is taking a look at what I call the 5 building blocks, or the 5 areas in your life. And we actually focus on what I call it the FFPPH model. So it's personal, professional, financial, family and friends, and health and wellness. So what I'd like you to do in this section, again, is to do a reality check. Yes, sometimes we think about, oh, I think I'm okay here, I think I'm okay there. But again, when we take the time down to write, we take things away. And don't forget, as part of your subconscious, which is where we operate from, a lot of things are triggered by an emotional memory, and it's not necessarily the reality. Writing down your truth is the first step in getting clear on what area and where you need to work on the most. So in this section here, you will put on, what are you extremely happy about? And again, it's not about where you think you should be. It's not about what you think you should be doing, but your honest truth about where you are in your personal life, in your professional life, your financial health, your physical health. Where are you on those 5 core building blocks in your life? And the other thing I would like you to do is to rate it as well. Based on where you are, what you're happy with, and what you're not too happy with, what is the rating you would give yourself in that category? And then the final step to really get clear on the areas that stand out to you the most, the next section you guys would complete is called the Wheel of Life. And again, based on the scale, on the rating that you gave yourself earlier, I would like you to go in and shade where you are in your personal life. Are you at a 4? Are you in a 2 in your professional health and wellness? Are you in a 1? Family? Are you, again, where are you? I want you to take the time to be honest with yourself, who you are, and to complete it based on where you are right now. And again, the biggest gift you can give to yourself is to be honest about where you are. Don't focus too much on where you think you should be. Don't focus too much on what you should be doing, but be honest with where you are. This will help the setup for 2016, will make it sustainable, will make it effective, and that will actually help you to achieve your goals because, again, you know that you're coming from a place of authenticity and vulnerability. And another thing I'd like to mention to you, ladies, is that when you are operating from your personal truth, you send wavelength, you send a vibration to the universe, and you will attract the people and the resources you need to actually make that part of your life better. So when we lie to ourselves, when we're not being honest with where we are on any one of those areas, we end up hurting ourselves more. We're doing a disservice to ourselves. We are not doing a service to anybody. We end up hurting ourselves more. So this is the first part that you would, what I call the reality factor. So I call it like the data dump. We take a look at where we are. It's just the raw truth. All right. Any questions on that section in that area? Yeah, that quote is, yes, it's a very, 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 very impactful quote. And again, as we carry on through the various sections, there will be a lot of opportunities for you to actually, note the different items, words, thoughts, phrases that will help empower you to the next level as well. That's good, Charlemagne. That is the first step. Charlemagne just said her financial rating is like a, -1, and the truth is what will set you free. The truth is what will take you to the next level, and that is actually one of my areas as well, Charlemagne. Getting my financial health, back to a healthy rating is one of my biggest areas for 2016. So trust me when I tell you we are in this together, ladies. We are in this together. And Cheryl is saying no, but I am already feeling the weight of this life-changing. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for being here. Your presence is very much appreciated. So step 1, the reality. So once we've gotten our reality factor, our reality rating, we know where we are. We are going to go to what I call step 2, the conscious clarity. One of the things that happens when we do a data dump and we actually take the things that are happening up here, because it's, I can't remember how many seconds, how much information goes through our brain at any given time. It's very hard for us to focus on the things that need our attention, or that needs or that will give us the most impact if we direct our attention to it when we have all those things going on. So one of the effective or one of the great benefits, I should say, that we get from writing things down is that it gives us clarity. But not just clarity, it gives us conscious clarity. As I mentioned earlier, the amygdala, which is our emotional memory, which is where we operate from, the subconscious part of our brain, it stores everything, but it doesn't have the ability for it to process information. It doesn't have the ability for it to test for logic. It doesn't have the ability. All it does, and the subconscious, it works like, it works like a video editing, not like a playback. A lot of people think like, oh, my memory, let me see if I could remember that. Oh yes, I remember it. And we try to recall things, but what the research is saying is when we try to recall things, we recall it in a video editing mode. And actually, Cheryl, I know that's in your world, so you might understand this very clearly. When you edit, you take things out. When you edit a video, you cut out a little bit of light in here, you lose sound, you lose light, you lose a little bits and pieces of what you have recorded. This is what happens to the human brain. So when we remember something, we are recreating it, we are changing it, and the memory is subject to change every time we remember it. And that's why it's also important for us to do the step one, the reality factor, more than once, because sometimes we remember something this way. When we write it again, it gives us an opportunity for us to go a little bit deeper as well, and for us to get a little bit more insight into what we really need to work on, or what we really need to focus on. So step two, the conscious clarity, gives us that ability or that opportunity. It creates, like, space, for lack of a better word. It creates space for us to be a little bit more present, for us to engage our prefrontal cortex, for us to, get into that reasoning and that testing for truth. Because when we operate from our emotional memory, when we operate from our subconscious, there is no ability, there is no opportunity for us to do that. And step two, again, is preceded. And for every of the steps, I gave you one of my life-changing quotes by one of the people I admire. And this quote by Robin Sharma says, your life will expand or contract in direct relation to your willingness to do the things you fear. Sometimes conscious clarity, it allows us to move closer to what we really want, but also it opens up the Pandora's box. Because the minute we get closer to our dreams, to the things that really matter to us, what happens? The resistance comes. The little gremlins, the fear gremlins show up, and and as I mentioned earlier, it shows up and it's like, oh, Carlin, who are you to teach this webinar on fear? There are people with the background, who went to school, who have PhDs in it, and who are better equipped to do it. The same thing might happen to you when you're ready to raise your hand for that next role, or to maybe start charging your clients a certain fee. Then it comes up and it tries to tell you who you are, and it tries to remind you of who you are. And that's why it's very, very important for us to zero in and to test for truth. So as you after completing, step one, with your wheel of life, step two, again, doing that deeper dive and taking a look at what is that one area in your life that you're experiencing fear. And usually your biggest pain point, because the things we fear the most, we avoid it. Whether it is through the perceived notion of, what, I'm going to run away from my finances. It's so much work. I don't know where to start. Oh, let me just put that one on the back burner. And then, as you guys know, you put it on the back burner once, twice, 3 times, and then a year, months, 2 years have passed by and you haven't done much with it. But focusing on that area that needs the most attention, usually there is a reason why we keep avoiding that spot. So take the opportunity to write down that area and your why. Why did you get -1 in your finance, or for the family section? Why is there, that experience that you want to have with your family? Why is it a 2, or why is it a 3, or wherever you had your lowest grade? My suggestion is for you to start right there. and to take it from there. And again, that area and that why, it may not necessarily have the title of, let's say, family. But it might be something that's in the category of family, you know, because you can also take a look, for example, the personal area. Take a look at the personal area and break it down, whether it's your love, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's your relationship, or how you operate in your relationship with your husband or your children. So you can also take those various areas and break it down a little bit more and do a deeper dive on the areas that triggers the most fear for you. Again, and let's take a look at the second step in this exercise, is to take a look at the people who contributed to where you are today, and then the circumstances or the situations you found yourself in that contributed to where you are today. Any questions on step 2, or are we good? All right. Let's check the voice quote. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Now we are moving on to what I call the messy middle, the fear factor. And the quote that really spoke to me was Eckhart Tolle, and he says that the story we tell ourselves masks our true voice, our most authentic self. Be willing to still yourself. The story we tell ourselves masks our true voice, our most authentic self. Be willing to still yourself. So we've taken a look at the reality factor in terms of where we are. We've taken a look at step 2, which talks about our conscious clarity, the area that you're experiencing fear, the people who contributed to where you are today, and the circumstances and the situations that you found yourself in that contributed to where you are today. Now we're taking a look at the messy middle. And the messy middle, again, it's taking a deeper dive, and I have a little bit of, background there for you as well, so you can go in and read it, take a look at the quotes, and allow that to inspire you to really go in. And one of the things that really struck me when I did I did a course with Dr. Brené Brown on vulnerability and authenticity, and even reading her books. And Tony Robbins also had a webinar on fear. And one of the things he mentioned, which really stuck to me and gave me a pause, was we are not fearful of whatever it is we say that we're afraid of. What he said was, it's the story that we have made up about the fear that is what is influencing the emotion behind the fear. And that's the gift of the conscious clarity. When we are able, okay, Maya just asked a question, how do you still yourself? You still yourself, Maya, by just spending time with yourself in solitude, whether you take that 15 minutes, that 20 minutes. There are a lot of people who do yoga, a lot of people meditate. Meditation is a really great way, a great, time for you to still yourself and to spend that time with who you are. Anybody else on the webinar, would you like to share how you still yourself? But these are some of the ways that you can still yourself. It's basically being alone and quiet with your thoughts, and spending time with you. So in the conscious clarity, what we will be taking a look at is the messy middle, and figuring out what is the story that we have told ourselves, which in step 2, in terms of conscious clarity, you will have documented part of that story. So we'll take a deeper dive on it, and we'll talk about what are you really afraid of, and what was the main driver behind what you wrote. We'll also take a look at who are you when you're living in fear. Another effective way, when we get curious, when we allow curiosity to lead us to our fear story, and to understand why we are feeling or we experiencing fear. And again, as much as the brain's default is a negativity bias, and it either goes into fight or flight mode, unless there is a huge tiger or a huge, I don't know, life-threatening, somebody is coming with you at a gun, or somebody's coming with you, they are going to kill you. There really is no reason for us to fight or for us to flight. When we experience fear, especially in terms of our goal setting, it's an opportunity, and living life on our terms, it's an opportunity for us to just dig in a little bit deeper and to find out, what am I really afraid of? And when we allow that curiosity to lead us to dig in a little bit deeper, something happens to your body. And that is why it's so important for us to describe our state. So the second part of that step is to, let's take a look at your state. Let's take a look at who you are, who do you become, what happens to your body. Because the only way for us to effectively manage that fear and to turn it into a power. Oh, Charlemagne is just saying, Cheryl just mentioned in reference to Maya's question on how do you still yourself. Cheryl said it's moments of prayer and reflection. And Charlemagne said, spiritual food, sometimes a devotional helps me to still myself. Ford says, shut down, turn things off and just chat with yourself. Focus on you. I used to do this more often. I need to get back to it. Well, this workbook will be a great starter for you ladies, because you will need a few moments to yourself for you to complete this, because it will require you to be reflective. It will require you for you to go in and to ask yourself some questions. And especially at this junction that we're at right now, in terms of your state, something happens to our bodies when we are in fear. What do you do? What happens to what happened to your body when you're in fear? I want you to describe your body from head to toe. I want you to be aware of every single cell, every single hair on your body, every single sensation that you feel when you're in fear or when you're not in fear. I want you to be able to pay attention to that. That is one of the most powerful tools that you can also employ, because when you are in fear mode, you will be able to tune in and you will be able to understand what's going in. And that is the first step in engaging your prefrontal cortex and actually testing for truth and asking yourself, again, unless there is somebody who's going to kill you and there's a lion or something who's going to eat you up, of course, run. But outside of that, going back to that quote from Oprah, where she says that, what do we really fear? What do we fear? We fear, second, let me find that quote again. She said, the thing you fear most, it has no power. Your fear of it is what has the power. So that story that we tell ourselves about the fear or that thing that we fear, that is what has the power. And facing the truth really will set you free. And part of that truth, again, is going through doing the reality factor, getting a reality check on where you are. What is the story? Who are the people you have said that is responsible for where you are today in terms of that fear factor? What are the circumstances? What did you do? Let's put it all on paper. Let's get it out of from our emotional memory, from our emotional learning, and let's put it down on paper. The minute we do that, we are better able to test for truth and to also reframe and rewrite that story behind our fear factor. So being aware of what happens in your body, being aware of your state. Do you slouch? Do you clench your hands? Do you sweat? Being aware will give us more tools, make us more aware of who we are, and also give us more tools for us to move from a fear factor into a more empowered state. And the final section in that step is to take a look at the story you tell yourself when you're living in fear. What is the story you tell yourself when you're living in fear? I cannot do it. Who am I to do it? I will not succeed. Oh, maybe this goal is too big, because, in my family, so-and-so have only done X. Or do we tell ourselves like, people will be mad? When I made the decision to own my elephant story, again, one of my fear stories, for the longest while I allowed that story to be the driver of everything I said and did. And as much as I wanted to speak out and I wanted to do more in terms of helping women break free from the things that hold us back, I couldn't really do that because I wasn't ready to break free of what was holding me back. So what ended up happening was that I allowed fear to dictate my life for a very long time. And quietly on the side, I did a very, very small version of what I really wanted to do. But when we have allowed ourselves to actually face that thing, face the fear, the thing that we fear, amazing things will happen. And I will now take you on to step 4. We're almost at the end. Step 4 is, okay, before we go on to step 4, the fear factor, this is where I would like you to actually note what happens to you when you're in fear. When you're fearful, what happens? What happens to your facial features? What happens to, your body? Like, just go down the body of this lady and this figure and write what happens to you when you're in fear. Do you slouch? Do you get a lot of tension around your neck? Do you like what happens? And again, that is a very, just being aware of your state, being aware of your body is also a very effective tool in overcoming fear and dealing with it in an effective manner. And now step 4. So now that we've actually gone through your reality factor, we've taken a look at conscious clarity. What are some of the things that are really, in our data bank, in our subconscious? We've also taken a look at the fear factor, the messy middle. What is the story that we're telling ourselves, or the story I'm making up based on that fear story that happened, how many years ago? Step 4 is your blueprint to success and what I call mindset mastery. And Brene Brown, from her latest book called Rising Strong, she says that the most dangerous stories we make up are the narratives that diminish our inherent worthiness. We must reclaim the truth about our lovability, divinity, and creativity. The most dangerous stories we make up are the narratives that diminish our inherent worthiness. And there's one thing I want you ladies to know and remember is that you are worthy of your dreams and your desire. If you are breathing, if you are here on this earth, if you're hearing me, if you're listening to this, you are worthy of your dreams and your desires. Yes, there are certain things that have happened over the years that might have tested or that might have done stuff to us in our lives that really challenged that truth, but that truth never changed. And I'll never forget the story of, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys have heard that, the story of, the man who took $100 bill and he squished it all up and he threw it down on the floor, and then he stomped on it and he asked everybody in the audience, who wants it? Everybody still raised their hand. He took it again and he rolled it up and he put it on the ground and he rolled it under his shoe, and then he picked it up and he asked, who wanted it? Everybody still wanted it. Why? Because it did not diminish in value. It was still $100 bill. It was still worth $100. The value is still there. So same thing for us. Whatever we have been through, I know that based on the current construct of society, we have been taught that our fear stories, our shame stories, we should hide them, we shouldn't talk about it, and we should continue to live our lives based on what other people or based on what those fear stories have told us. The tools that are embedded in this document, if you follow through your planning workbook and you do all the work from step 1 to step 5, this will give you the tools that you need for you to break free from your barriers of fear, to reframe your fear story, and to now create goals based on your inherent worthiness, because you are worthy of your dreams, you are worthy of your desire, and you are the only person who knows what these dreams are. We all have experience at one point in our lives. We've all caught a glimpse of our greatness. We've all caught a glimpse where we know that we are just on fire and we are fully aware. But then when we again get into that fear mode, we talk ourselves back. When the resistance comes, the little fear gremlin shows up on our shoulder, we actually go in and we pull back and we set small goals. So at the end of this exercise, you will have the ability to not only challenge some of the stories, but you will also have the ability for you to rewrite those stories. And where we will start is taking a look at what I call, again, mindset mastery. How many of you guys have heard of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich? It's one of my favorite books. It's on my bookshelf. It has it's over highlighted and written in it, and you know there's a lot going on in there, because understanding how powerful we are and understanding that our success is predetermined. Napoleon Hill has really done an excellent job reminding us that success is ours. All we have to do is ask. And there is a great poem. I'm not going to read it right now, but if you have the book, if not, let me know. I'll photocopy that page and send it to you. But there's a great poem in there that talks about where, you know, the person asked the world for a penny, and the world gave him a penny. And he said, if only had I known, all I ask is what I will be given. And I'm paraphrasing here, but the basic concept behind the whole message was, if he had asked the world for $1 million, he would have gotten $1 million back. So the reason why it's important for us to get our mindset right is that, and going back to that first quote from Mark and Angel, is, it's not what you say out loud to everyone that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power. Because what you whisper to yourself will determine how much you ask of the universe and how far you will go for your goals, and what kind of goals as well you will set in 2016. So in Mindset Mastery, what we'll be taking a look at is, where is it? We'll be taking a look at your rituals, but we'll be taking a look at what are some of the stories. The most dangerous stories we make up are the narratives that diminish our inherent worthiness. But we also have the story about our lovability, our divinity, and our creativity, because we are successful. We are predetermined for success. Because we are here, it means that we have a purpose. It means that there is something that is predestined for us. All we have to do is to work past the fear and go and get it. Because again, once you're clear on what you want and where you're going, the vibration that you send out to the universe, it will automatically attract the people and the resources you need for you to make those dreams come true. So what I would like you to, and again, just a little bit of background in terms of why this exercise is so important. Let's think back a little bit to the amygdala and our subconscious, and how our emotional memory, you know, and the brain's negativity bias, the default window, for lack of a better word, think of a computer. The default window, once you press start up on a computer, it's a negativity bias. It's the same thing that happens with our brain. Positive experience, the way the brain deals with positive experiences is that it deals with it, you know, like a Teflon. If you think of a Teflon pen, what happens is that it just slides right off it. It doesn't stick, it doesn't stay. Things happen. Yay, you actually, you know, like Rosa Parks and Oprah and all these other people we saw earlier, they actually did it. They were successful and they reached their goal. Great story. We're inspired. The things that you have also accomplished as well, it doesn't stick. It doesn't deposit into our subconscious. It just goes straight through. But all the negative things that we've done or we've been through, all the things that have hindered or that have hurt us, our shame stories, our fear stories, it's automatically deposited into our subconscious. And our subconscious brain, it works as a sponge. So that is why we are always more likely to remember our negative experiences versus our positive experiences. Oh, yes. Excellent. I hope you've enjoyed it, Keisha. Read it every day. I attended an event when, you know, she was there, and we had a book swap, and I did bring, because that's my favorite book. I tell everybody to buy it. And yes, when I have the opportunity, I would either gift Brené Brown or Napoleon Hill, because they are the two books that literally changed my life. And embedded in those books are so many nuggets of wisdom that you will not go wrong just by reading them. So knowing how the brain works, again, we have to leverage how our brain works. So this section here is going to focus on what are some of the stories, what are some of the things that you did where you felt the fear but you did it anyway. Let's recall some of the stories. One of the most effective ways for us to put more positive experiences in our subconscious brain is by actually focusing on it for more than 10 seconds. Rewriting them, writing them, talking about them, sharing them. It's a very effective tool. I know that from a cultural perspective, most of us have been taught, oh, you know, you don't boast, you don't talk about your accomplishments, you just do your work and somebody will, you know, recognize you for that. That little thing, and I know it's not that little, now that I've understood that, you know, how the brain works and the whole history and the science behind it, this is one of the most detrimental things that we can do to ourselves. And I see it every day. I see it in VPs on my job on Bay Street, SVPs. I still see women holding themselves back in so many ways. And the more we do that, the more our negativity bias kicks in and it wins. So it's very important for you to complete this section. I want you to think back of a time when, you know, who are you when you are confident and bold? And that section too, I want you to go back to the figure up here, and I want you to complete on the other side, complete that section when you are happy and confident. What happens? Do you smile more? Do you sit up straighter? What happens to your body? What do you feel? What are some of the sensations that actually, you know, happen in your body when you're happy and when you're confident and when you're feeling bold and fabulous? Yes, Maya was just saying that I'm always aware of the negative. The positive is so fleeting. I want to learn how to hold on to positivity. So Maya, right there in step 4, this whole section right there, this is the part of where we will actually take a look at, start doing those deposits. This section is very effective. The entire 5-step process is very effective, especially the reality factor, because again, when we get clear on what we need to face, because the thing you fear most, it has no power. But it's the story we have told ourselves about that thing, that is where we have the power. So when we write it down, we acknowledge our fear stories, we put it down on paper, it gives us the clarity and the opportunity we need for us to test for truth, for us to engage our thinking mind, for us to really reason with it and see, what is our worst case scenario really? Okay, what if I am the one to set the biggest goal in my family and accomplish it? Yes, would so-and-so be jealous? Would they say things? Okay, what is my worst case scenario? They might not talk to you for a couple of months. Okay. And when we go back to that first quote from Dr. Brené Brown right here, and again, every single quote in here was specifically chosen for this workbook. When that happens, when you think of your worst case scenario, I want you to ask yourself this: what is the greater risk? Letting go of what people think, or letting go of how I feel, what I believe, and who I am? And I want you to ask yourself, are you okay to go to your grave without accomplishing your dream? Is it okay for you to live the rest of your life in mediocrity? Is it okay for you to live your life according to somebody else and according to your fear? Or do you want to take the tools that you have? Because again, if you read Napoleon Hill, he talks about the 2 keys we're given at birth. Because everything you need for your journey, it's in that envelope. You have it. It's in your hand. It's in your hand. But it's up to you to do the work to get yourself to that next level. So step 4 right here, this is very, 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 very important. It will help you, Maya, to take those positive experiences and deposit it into the subconscious part of your brain. So when you go after your dreams, when you go after your goals in life, when you start writing those bold goals for 2016, your subconscious part of your brain, again, remember, this is where we operate 99% of the time. Your subconscious part of your brain will automatically pull the story when Maya was bold, when she was fearless, when she was like totally on it. It will pull that story as opposed to the story of, oh, but don't you remember the last time when you did that, how you fell flat on your face? And why are you asking for so much? Ask for something smaller. And again, think of curiosity. Your key word here is curiosity, because even when you set the bold goals and you've done a lot of deposits of your positive experiences into your subconscious, your brain will still pull up a negative experience. But again, curiosity. Test for truth. But what is really behind that story? Why am I feeling, what story am I telling yourself? Challenge it. Because when you challenge it, when you face it, this is when the truth will set you free. Because again, your fear of it is what has the power. But the thing itself, there is no power. There is no fear. There is no power over it. We'll go on to take a look at your daily, weekly, monthly rituals. And again, this here is what I call your internal bank. Let's do a quick check to see if you guys have any questions. Yes, AMC says we need to flip that energy and use it. Ford says gratitude. I find it way too easy to go negative. What am I thankful for versus what's going wrong? Another thing I'm working on. Excellent. AMC says we always give the negative weight to sleep in and cause the scales to tip. Exactly, we do. And don't be so hard on yourselves, ladies, because again, the brain is decided, the default category of the brain is the negativity bias. So that's how we're wired. Again, it's from prehistoric times. This is how our brain is wired. This is how it's set up. So don't feel so bad. Every single person on this earth, that is how they operate. That is how we are wired. What some people, and that's why they're super successful, and that's why they're able to set bold goals, and that's why they're able to take their lives to the next level. They have learned to leverage the science of how the brain works, the power of positive psychology, and use that to optimize the personal effectiveness in their lives, both personally and professionally. So that workbook that you're getting, in addition with all the awesome things that you've been doing, will help you to get to that next level. And Cheryl just shared, she said that's so true. The moment I decided to push for greatness, many women in my life started to treat me differently. Greatness is worth the risk. Excellent. Very, very, very true. And here's another thing I will share with you, ladies. The people who fall off automatically from your life, it's because that you need to make space for the people who will help you to get to the next level. Because not everybody in your life right now have the ability to carry you on to the next level. We have season, reason, and lifetime people in our lives. We have to constantly shed. We have to constantly edit. We have to constantly make room for the people who are able to take us to the next level, because not everybody who is in your life right now is equipped to take you to the next level. And it doesn't have to be any drastic, oh, I am no longer going to talk to X because of that. You don't have to do that. Just be your best self. Continue to deposit positive experiences in your amygdala. Continue to operate from your positive, empowered self. Continue to get curious about your fear. Dig in, ask it. What's going on? What are you trying to tell me? And choose to operate from your empowered self. Just by doing that, you will be able to raise your frequency and attract the people you need to take you to the next level. So don't be afraid to let people to fall off as they should, because this is merely life making room for the people you need to come into your life who will take you to the next level. The biggest disservice we can do to ourselves is to try to change seasoned people into lifetime people. Doing so will hold you back. Doing so will hold you back. And I'm going to say it one more time. Do not try to change seasoned people into lifetime people, or reasoned people into seasoned people. Let people serve the purpose, the reason why they come into our lives, and let them carry on, because by releasing them, they are able now to be that gift to somebody else. And you are also delaying somebody else's blessing, and you're also delaying somebody else's next level in their lives as you're doing the same to you. So in step 4, we will be taking a closer look into your internal bank. And that quote that you ladies love so much, this is where your blueprint of success starts. Your state, your mental state, your physical state, your emotional state. This is why it's so important for you to understand what is happening in my body when I'm in fear. What happens to me? Do I slouch? Do I, like, the connection that you will build with yourself by going through this exercise, it will enlighten you to so much more. You will be more aware. You will start noticing more. And again, you will be able to find the people and the resources who will help you accomplish those bold goals that we will be setting in the next step. So your internal bank here is where you will write all the quotes, the stories, that lovely thing that somebody said about you and how you changed their lives. Don't shy it away. Don't hide it in a folder. Write it down, and you print this page and you put it somewhere you can see it every single day. Again, we know what the science is. The science says that your brain has a negativity bias. Based on prehistoric times, you cannot change it. But what can we do? Now we know how the brain works. You work with it. We embed more positive experiences in our subconscious. We use our opportunity, we use curiosity to tap into the fear or the story that we've told ourselves to engage our prefrontal, our neocortex. We go into our thinking mind, we tap into our IQ. And again, just by doing that, you will find the people you need who will support you, who will love you, who will push you, and will help you get to the next level in life. So your internal bank is almost kind of, if you want to call it, yeah, my bragging wall. Call it your bragging wall. But on here is where you will put your quotes, the words, your power words. And I have actually helped you. I've started you ladies off with what I call your vision for your life. And Warren Dennis has this amazing quote, and it says, vision animates, it inspires, and it transforms purpose into action. And I don't have to repeat it again, but your vision statement, it provides guidance and it's inspiration for your optimal desired state. Because we understand how the brain's negativity bias works, you have to almost double, triple up on your positivity. And that's why a gratitude practice, I know a lot of you guys have heard that, having a gratitude journal can be life-changing. Stating what you're thankful for every day. Talking about your accomplishments and the things that you have accomplished and the things that you have excelled on and the praises people have given you. There is a reason why you need to pay attention to these, including this vision statement that I've written here. And the vision statement, your homework for that section is for you to print it. I want you to read it out loud. We have used lots of power words that will fuel your why and spark the intended desired outcome for your life. And for the next 7 days, I want you to read this daily. And I also want you to record it as well. And I want you to play the recording back because I want you to hear you talking to you about you in a positive manner. And the vision statement is, I am an extraordinary woman living an extraordinary life. I am aware of the increasingly abundance of opportunities in my life. I accept the love and blessings entering my life daily. I love and accept myself. I have everything I need to make every second of my life impactful. My life, who I am, makes a positive difference in the world. I am worthy of my dreams and my desires. This is your starting point. This is what I need you to remind yourself of. This is where your catalyst for your success and your ability to set bold goals, this is where it starts. Because again, your inherent worthiness, who you are, the greatness that is lined up for you, the success that has been predetermined for you, this extraordinary woman I'm talking about right now, it's you. You have everything I have read there. We just need to remind ourselves of it. So print this. Your exercise is to repeat this for 7 days. Read it while looking at yourself in the mirror. You can also record it as well and replay it. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys, you have your own vision statement as well. Feel free to rewrite it. Use power words that a little bit more natural for you, some of the words that you probably use currently right now every day. You can also rewrite it and use that as your vision statement for the next couple of days. You can also rewrite it again, because rewriting and writing things down, that's why it's so powerful and it's very important to carry a journal. Writing also helps reframe and deposit the positive experiences into our subconscious. So feel free to rewrite that vision statement, and you can also put it in your wallet so you can see it on a daily basis. Okay, and we are wrapping up on step 5, which is the final step in your living fearlessly and setting bold goals webinar, is a visualization and manifestation and putting it all together. And this final quote is again from one of my mentors, again, Auntie Oprah, where she said that you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for. But if we are not clear, on who we are and what we deserve, we will ask, as I mentioned earlier, based on that story in Napoleon Hill's book, we will ask for the cent. And guess what? Life will give you the cent. But you have an opportunity to ask life for what you want, what you deserve. And another quote that I love by Michelangelo, it says that the greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. So I want you to really think about this part, and I want you to go back after you've read your vision statement. This section right here is that I want you to talk about your legacy. I want you to take a moment and rewrite it if you've written it already. What kind of life would you like to live? If you're given only 6 months to live, and would you still pursue the life? Would you still pursue life how you did last year? Would what you do every day, every second, every moment matter more? And will you still pursue the goals that you pursued last year? What is your why? What is your legacy? Why are you doing what you're doing? Getting clear on that and putting it down on paper again gives you an opportunity for you to send it out to the universe and put it in your subconscious so that you operate from that empowered state more. And then after you've completed this, we'll go into your 2016 goals, where you get to create your reality. And again, when you commit to you and your goals, the universe conspires to make it come true. And visualization leads to manifestation, which leads to reality. So in addition to the words and the thoughts that you have put in your internal bank earlier, in addition to that fear story, that I felt the fear but did it anyway story, the awesome things that you have accomplished so far, I also want you to take a photo of yourself, or photos that represent the kind of life after you have written down your legacy. I want you to put your photo on here. I want you to put your photo. This is only for your pictures. Think of it as your mini vision board. And then we'll go in and we'll select your top 3 goals for the year based on the 5 quadrants that we mentioned earlier: family, financial, health and wellness, personal, love and lifestyle, and professional and business. I want you to write your top 3 goals based on the picture on the empowered woman, the extraordinary woman that you have placed on the previous page. I want you to now select your top 3. That's excellent. AMC says that she loves the Michelangelo quote. She's like, I'm always one to dream big. Is there any other way? I agree. No, there isn't any other way. But a lot of times we hold ourselves back and we set small goals. So I want to see all of us challenge ourselves for 2016 and to set even bigger goals. And again, like I mentioned, my goals are tied to the global goals. I'm pretty sure when you're setting your goals and you go back, when you look at the global goals for sustainable development, I am pretty sure that your goals are tied to it as well. So here you will select it. Just write your top 3 for each of those areas before, top 3 goals that you'd like to achieve for 2016. And then we'll take a deeper dive and to really tighten it up and to get specific on those goals. What is your statement for those goals? How will you feel when this happens? What month, quarter, or date this goal will happen? And what specific actions you will take and who you will call on for encouragement, your supporting verse, quote, affirmation, and your reward for that goal, for achieving, for accomplishing that goal. Like I mentioned before, we do the work. This workbook, yes, it might seem like it's a lot of work, but honestly, once you sit, because a lot of all of you on the webinar right now, you have the qualities that highly successful people have because you are here. You decided to take action, and I'm pretty sure that yes, you do set goals. You do write down your goals, and you do ensure that you put different strategies in place to ensure that you actually achieve your goals. But you want more, and I applaud you for coming here tonight. I applaud you for showing up to even push yourself to an even higher level, to push yourself to ensure that you actually achieve the bold goals that I know that you can achieve for 2016. And that is the end out of the workbook. And also, we're almost close to the end of the webinar as well. Oh, Cheryl is saying, Samantha said, thank you, Carlin, looks amazing. And Cheryl is saying, Carlin, this is absolutely incredible. Please consider have this seminar with women to work through this course, my Lord. Yes, Cheryl, I know it is a lot of work, but it's the principles that I've shared with you guys. Like I said, I've spent quite a number of it, and I'm still learning. I'm still in school. I'm actually doing a leadership masterclass with Daniel Goleman, who is the father of emotional intelligence, this month. I just received my material for my course. I'm very excited about it. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to learning, but these have really changed my life. And like I said, I've seen it how it has changed the lives of some of the women in the Sister Talk group as well. So I know that there is power in all of the principles I've shared with you. The only thing you have to do, is to actually do the work. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't do the work. A lot of people, yes, they attend the webinar, they get the workbook, and and they put it somewhere, they print it, and then that's it. And then they set mediocre goals for the next year, which is just a smidgen, a little bit more ambitious than what they said in 2015. But for you guys, I want you to set even bigger goals. I want you to go bigger. I want you to go bold. I want your goals to scare you. So when you write your top 3 goals in the final step, I want your goals to scare you. If it's not scaring you, I want you to go back and write it again. So like I said, I want you to print 2 copies of the workbook. 2 copies of the workbook. And then I want you to write your goals based on the second one. I'm going to share with you now the final screen. Charlemagne says, AMC said, this is fantastic. This is a well-rounded workbook. I have started strategic planning with my mentor in the business end, but this is fantastic. And that's incredible that you've already started, AMC. One of the things that I always tell people, there isn't a difference between your personal goals and your professional goals. Your personal goals, actually, the goals that works with you, that reconnects with your authentic self, it fuels your business goals even further. You're more likely to take bigger risk in your business life if you push yourself more on the personal side. Because again, what matters most is the stories we tell ourselves, and also it will determine what kind of goals we set. Because what you believe and who you believe you are, it will show up in your business, it will show up in your relationships, it will show up in everything you do. This is why it's so important for us women to have a very high standard of ourselves, because the minute we understand our worth and who we are, everything else is set at that level as well. So I'm just going to read a few of the comments here. Shauna said, this is fantastic. Looking forward to starting. Charlemagne says, wow, I have been going through my life waiting on it to happen. Goal setting and actually implementing it. So she is ready to take it higher in 2016. Michelle says that it is worth it to go through the workbook. It's time to go higher for 2016. And again, ladies, remember, if it doesn't scare you, I want you to go back and do it again, because it means that you haven't really dived into your bold goals. You're still setting surface-based goals. So at the end of this session, what you will be able to do is to live fearlessly. You will learn to get curious about the things that come up when you're setting those goals, and even in your daily interaction as well. This strategy, this tactic is not only for setting goals, but you can actually use it in every area of your life, whether it's in your personal relationship, whether it's in your relationship with your children, and you can also pass on those strategies to them as well, because life will happen whether we're ready for it or not. Things will happen. We'll encounter people who will test us, who will push us to the limit, who will take us to the next level. But never forget that those people are here to give us a message and to help us on our way to our best selves. So this is the end of the workbook. I will be sending this to you right after the webinar. Again, final words, and this final quote it's when I read it, it was very, very, I read it over and over again, and I have it written in my book of quotes. It says, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds courage, confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Get out and get busy. And action is, again, one of those antidotes, for fear. In addition to getting curious, it's also important for us to go in and do something. Curiosity is the first step. After you get curious, do something. So final words I am going to share with you are, let me just pull this up. Let's see. So how can we put it all together and how can we make it happen? Let me take you to this. Okay, can you ladies see the screen? Let's see. Yes. Okay, I need to share the screen. All right, I think I need to switch. 1 second. I need to switch to another screen, the final screen, so I can get you ladies to go and get your nap. Okay, so what we have reviewed so far is, again, the 5-step process, and it's a very effective 5-step process if you actually go through all the steps: the reality factor, the conscious clarity, the messy middle, which is where we really get into the fear factor, taking a look at our physical state, our mental state in terms of the stories we tell ourselves, and of course, our stories of success. Your blueprint to success, it's all about mindset mastery. It really doesn't matter what you do, how many coaches you have, how many courses you take. If your mindset is not set in the right place, if you don't think, if you don't whisper the right stories and you don't tell yourselves the right thing, you will not be as effective as you should be in life. And step 5, which is the visualization and manifestation, putting it all together and making it happen. So this concludes our webinar, and one thing I'd like you to think about, before you go away, is how will you make a difference in your world today? What will you do differently starting today that will enable you to make 2016 the best year of your life? How will you make a difference in your world, and what will you do differently? And here is what I can help you and how I can help you. Of course, like I said, my first step is to help you through giving you this plan and workbook. And this workbook has been a labor of I've been using it over the past couple of years with my different coaching clients on Bay Street, and it's a combination again of using the power of positive psychology, using the research in terms of how the brain works, and also your story, which is the most important part, your story and your mindset. So this planning workbook is free. You can download it, print as many copies as you would like. You will also be getting an invite to our private Facebook group only for individuals who are part of the webinar, and where any questions you have, anything that you'd like to ask me, you can drop a note in here and I will also help you as well. There are also 2 other things that it depends on what kind of support and how you'd like to move forward in 2016. The first 90 days of 2016 is the most powerful 90 days. What you do in those 3 months, what you do from day one, actually what you do from now. And again, you ladies are ahead of the game. So if you start now with getting your mindset in the right place and doing the work, you are actually already ahead of the game. But if you would like more support, I am offering, I have an opportunity for, I'm taking on 8 clients for coaching. I mean, I thought about this one long and hard, because in terms of my capacity, I don't have a lot of room for one-on-one coaching and for group coaching as well. But I did say for 2016, one of my passion, one of the things I'd like to do in addition to also aligning myself with the global goals and focusing on goal 4 and 5, which is education for children and gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. I really wanted to work closely with 8 amazing, well, actually it's 10 amazing women, but I'm going to tell you in a bit how you can get an opportunity for you to actually get into that group coaching for free. We have 2 sponsorship opportunities, but if you would like to work with me one-on-one as part of the group coaching, there's an opportunity for you to do so. Today only it's $297, which is actually $3. When I did the math, it was crazy. I was like, really, it's only $3 a day. But if this is something that, you know, if your bold goals, you'd like to get that attention and that focus on yourself to ensure that you set yourself up for ultimate success in 2016, grab one of those opportunities. There is an opportunity for you to pay as well on a payment plan if you don't have the full course rate, the full amount right now. But if this is an investment you're ready and you're willing to make for 2016, jump on it. Again, I will send that as well in the link for you when I send you the link for you to download your planning workbook for free. There are lots of amazing things that's part of the private the Elite 3-month Power Group Coaching, which I will share with you when you sign up for it. More information will be in the email. Easy to implement goal tracking system is the success plan, and the success plan is a day planner which will be released actually at the end of this month, and actually in the next 2 weeks. So all the principles that I just mentioned that we just talk about, from having a daily gratitude practice, from giving yourself permission, from actually writing your success stories every month. Imagine the power of writing what you are accomplished every single month. The success planner, all the principles that we just went through, all the principles that I talked about is actually embedded in this day planner, and it will be available for you if you'd like to purchase this, or if you want the intense group coaching opportunity, then you can do that as well. And like I mentioned before, you will get access to our private members only Facebook group. And again, just some testimonials. You know, some people are talking about the planner. There's this lady, you know, who's one of my clients. She's like, thank you so much for this. I have been thinking of new ways to better plan my days and not only include that never-ending to-do list. This has room for positivity as well as personal and professional growth. I also like the 3 time wasters identified. I never have seen even more time in my day. Thank you again. And another user said, you know, using it, you know, it allows her to stay on track, and it keeps her accountable as well. So if you would like to again, like I said, sign up, I will be sending the link to you later on today. There is an opportunity for a payment plan as well. I am here to support you. I am here to ensure that you set bold goals for 2016. You know, Samantha just said, I cannot wait for the success planner. It's going to be such a game changer for 2016. I agree too, because I have seen the power of, you know, everything that we have talked about literally tonight. It's part of the day planner. So you can actually track your goals, track yourself. So those 3 goals that you're selecting on here and that detailed goal setup that you'll be doing in your workbook, you can actually take it over to your planner for 2016. I don't know if you ladies did see a picture of it, but this is what the planner will look like. It's going to be white with gold foil. And yes, it's very pretty because I like beauty. My goals should be written in beautiful books. So I think you guys will really love it. So this is it for tonight. Any questions? You can type your questions in the box. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you for doing so. If you know there's anything that you wanted me to cover and I didn't cover here, let me know. We can talk about it. Send me a note. But if you have any questions, just put the questions below, and I will answer them. But this concludes the end of our end of our webinar. Thank you guys again. My apologies again for the glitch in the system and the late start. It's my first webinar, so I'm learning. So I have learned from this one, and next time we will start on time, for sure. Oh, you're welcome. Kaisha said, thank you. Shauna James said, this was amazing. You're a fabulous mentor. Maya says, getting goosebumps for 2016. Yes. Thank you, Carlin, for this amazingly informative webinar. EMC said, thank you for an insightful webinar, love. You did great. Congrats on a great first webinar. This is what Samantha said. So again, thank you guys so much for joining. Take a look at your inbox for the email with your link to download your free planner workbook. I will also send you an invite as well for the Facebook group, but get started tomorrow. Print 2 copies. I recommend that you print 2 copies and start doing the work. If you have any questions, if you're stuck along the way, of course, let me know. But if you would like some more attention and some more traction on really focusing on those goals, or even just ensuring that the goals that you set for 2016 are bold and they are worthy of your time and your action, join the 3-month group coaching. It will give you the tools you need for you to implement and make those daily rituals, those daily habits into something that you can carry throughout the rest of the year. So again, anything else that I can do to serve you, let me know. And I thank you again for your time, and I thank you for being here. And oh, Sophia says late but caught up a little bit. Oh, you can rewatch it. Cheryl said it's so over for 2016. Oh, I love that. Charlamagne said that's okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Charlamagne. Carlene says, thank you, Carlene. This was a great learning session. Keep up the wonderful work. Thank you so much, Carlene. Thank you, ladies, for joining. Again, if there's anything else I can do, let me know. But download your workbook and get to working. I'm looking forward. Oh, and I almost forgot. I didn't share how you can win. There are 2 scholarships for you to join our 3-month group coaching. And how you can do that is at the end of every workbook, every step in the workbook, you have an activity. In how you can win and get a scholarship is that you take a picture of the activity that you have done, post it on social media with the hashtag of what really matters. The whole underlying message behind this webinar is to get us to focus more on what really matters and don't just go through the checklist mode of life. So starting next week, Monday, I'm going to give you guys some time to absorb the information, to rewatch the webinar if you'd like, to rewatch to go through the workbook, to read it. Starting on Monday, the What Really Matters challenge will start. And I want you guys to post a photo of your workbook. But also, in addition to that, you can also win by posting a photo of yourself doing something that really matters to you, because I want you to live more. I want you to feel more. I want you to come alive, and I want you to do work that matters to you. And it doesn't matter if you still have a 9-to-5. I still have a 9-to-5, but because what I do, like I said, global goals 4 and 5, empowerment of women and girls is important to me. I find a way to make it happen, and I find a way to focus on what really matters to me. And the reason why I have been able to be so successful and being able to launch the planner this year, it has been a dream of mine for like 3 years, and we're finally able to get it done. And also launching the Beauty Bank Club, which is an online financial literacy and self-esteem confidence building tool for young girls. We have finally started development on that, is because I have used the principles in the Success Planner. It's because I have used the principles I have shared with you guys here. Because fear did run my life for a couple of years, but I am now in charge. And yes, as Cheryl said, 2016 is so over. There's lots of great things in store, and I can't wait to share more with you guys as we go along. And I am looking forward to hearing about your goals as well. And again, if it doesn't scare you, you have to start over again. Okay, Cheryl is asking, is there a way that we can get other ladies to look at the replay of this webinar? Yes, what I will do is that I will post it for those who didn't have an opportunity to watch it, and I will also send the link for the workbook as well. Though the special offer for the group coaching is also only for you guys who are here tonight, but I will send it out as well. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. Thank you, AMC, for joining us. Thank you, ladies. And drop me a note, social media, online. Some of you have my email. Drop me a note if you have any questions as well. And let us live fearlessly and set bold goals for 2016 and do work that really matters to you, because that is when you come more alive, and that is when you will make the real difference you were meant to make into this world. Okay, good night. Have a fabulous night. Good night, Samantha. Thank you for joining.